DC is putting out some of the best comics they've put out in years. There's a lot of great series that I am enjoying right now that are worth your money, like Aquaman, Absolute Batman, Batman and Robin, Batman Dark Patterns, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Superman. There's a lot of comics I'm really enjoying from DC right now. I know half those ones I listed are Batman, but it's DC Comics. What do you expect? All they do is put out Batman comics. At least they're putting out some good ones right now. But that being said, something that DC is missing is a good event. It's been years since we've had a good event. They've tried and failed with several different writers, and those writers are still trying and failing, sadly. We got Lazarus Planet from Mark Waid. It sucked. We got Absolute Power from Mark Waid most recently, which was really bad. It was a whole thing about how like AI deepfakes were used to turn the public on the DC heroes. So it'd be like, here's Superman like tipping over this kid's bowl of cereal, and everyone be like, by God, Superman did that. And then Amanda Waller had a bunch of Amazos that she used to suck the power out of the heroes, so they're depowered. It was really stupid. It was Absolute Power sucked. A shame because Dan Mora was on art, so it looked really good, but not Mark Waid's best. We had Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths from Joshua Williamson, which was really bad. It had one good moment with John Kent, which probably was John Kent's best moment since Bendis ruined him. But other than that, that event was terrible. You had also Terrors from Joshua Williamson, which was awful and took over a lot of books and made good books bad for a little bit. It was one of those events where it's like, man, it'd be really nice if it was self-contained to its own event title instead of crossing over with all these other titles and taking them over and ruining them. That was very sad. You had a while ago, you had Dark Knight's Death Metal from Scott Snyder. I'm bringing that up because Scott Snyder is helping write the next event, DCKO, which I made a video on when that was first announced. And man, I'm not too stoked for Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder on DCKO, even though they're both good writers. They both have written a lot of comics I've really enjoyed, and comics I'm currently enjoying. I think Joshua Williamson is writing the best ongoing comic right now, which is G.I. Joe. He's killing it on G.I. Joe. It's amazing. Scott Snyder is writing one of the most fun books of the moment, which is Absolute Batman. It's a ton of fun, but these two guys on an event book doesn't really get me excited because their track record for events are not very good. Also, the premise for DCKO, it looks like the ceiling for this title is just dumb fun, and the bottom, the basement, the floor is abysmal dog shit. So it feels like the upside isn't very high, but the downside could be very low. I don't know. I'm not super stoked for it. I hope it's good. They got a good artist on there. It sounds like a fun premise, but even if they nail everything, again, it just seems like, oh, that was fun, and that'll be it. Like, it won't be anything like real memorable or anything that you'll really love, like an Infinite Crisis or Crisis on Infinite Earths or something like that. It'll just be like, oh, remember when they did that? That'll be fun. Like, I feel like its ceiling is kind of like Forever Evil. Like, I liked Forever Evil. It's pretty good. By today's standards, it's one of the best events ever. But in actuality, it was just good. It was good. I wouldn't say it's the best or anything. It had some great moments, and I liked Forever Evil, but it's not on the Mount Rushmore of comic book events or even DC comic events. And that's what I feel like the ceiling for DCKO is like, maybe around Forever Evil. So who knows how it'll go. But it just thinking about all this makes me sad because it reminds me of when we had Jeff Johns, who it seems was the last guy at DC who could write good events. Because right now, again, Mark Waid, Joshua Williamson, and Scott Snyder, all three guys that are talented writers, have had their shot at events, and they have all failed as of late. And for whatever reason, they can write solo titles, but they can't write events. Jeff Johns could do both. I know not a lot of people. I know Doomsday Clock divided a lot of people because a lot of people have their certain opinions on the Watchmen characters. I loved Doomsday Clock. I thought it was great. I'm really enjoyed it. But aside from that, Jeff Johns has done a billion other events that are so good, like Infinite Crisis, as I already mentioned. Blackest Night was amazing. He's done a lot of really cool events. Or Forever Evil, like I already mentioned. He's done a lot of great events. He could do it. He proved it. But Doomsday Clock got killed by delays. And Doomsday Clock, it was so good, man. And we were still in the lane of Rebirth. We were still on that highway, that Rebirth highway, going down that. And then after Doomsday Clock, we left it. We took an exit, and it made me very sad. Because around the same time as Doomsday Clock wrapping up, we had these other events, all within, I believe, within like a year of each other. We had Bendis' Event Leviathan, and we had Dark Knight's Death Metal and Doomsday Clock, like all within like a year of each other. We also had Heroes in Crisis going on during that time, which was another horrible event, arguably the worst event in all of comics. Thankfully, DC decided not to let Tom King cook on these events anymore after Heroes of Crisis. It was so bad. But man, just so many events going on at the same time when they should have just been focusing on Doomsday Clock despite the delays. So we just got too many cooks in the kitchen. DC didn't really know where they wanted to go. They just kind of wanted to forget about Doomsday Clock because all the delays, and they wanted to move on. And then shortly after that, you had like the 5G debacle, and then that like turned into Future State, and it was really a lot of weird stuff. And DC messed up, and then Jeff Johns took that as his opportunity to take some of the best artists in the industry and go to Ghost Machine. And Ghost Machine's amazing, by the way. If you're not reading Ghost Machine comics, you should be. They're some of the best comics out right now. I love Ghost Machine, but it's sad that we don't have Jeff Johns at DC. I believe he eventually will come back one day, but it's going to be a while. And for now, DC hasn't found someone that's an architect, someone that has that skill to do event books. Now, if you ask me who could do an event book at DC, to me, there's only really two people you can look to right now, and that's Jeremy Adams and Philip Kennedy Johnson, because I believe they are the two best writers at DC right now. Philip Kennedy Johnson isn't exclusive at DC. He writes everywhere. He's freelance. He's also writing Incredible Hulk at Marvel, which is the best ongoing at Marvel right now. But Jeremy Adams, not too long ago, was signed exclusively to DC. So it's one of those things where it's like, do you want to take a great writer and potentially ruin them by having them do an event? Do you want to potentially do that? Maybe too much too soon. Who knows? Or, but also, I don't know what's the alternative. Do we keep going and be like, hey, eventually Josh Williamson will write a good event? Hopefully. Like, do you keep doing that? I don't think so. I think you got to try one of these guys. I would love to see what either of them would do. My pick personally would be Philip Kennedy Johnson, because he's shown that he can really weave a story, and he plans everything out, and it's really cool seeing him do it with all these different titles he's been on and see him break it down. Even Incredible Hulk, he just talked about how part 2 is happening now of his Incredible Hulk story, and he's been on Incredible Hulk for a while now, but he's like, now we're really getting to phase 2 of this, and then he's talking about, and he's like, in phase 3 will be this. It's like, wow, he's really planning this out. He's really good at long form storytelling, which is really cool. So I'd love to see if DC gave him the reins for an event. But considering he's not exclusive, I doubt they'd give it to him unless they signed him, which I don't know why they're not. They should. He's one of the best in the industry right now. Although it would be a shame, because then it'd be like one of the only ongoings at Marvel right now would be taken away. That would be kind of sad. But if he could write events, who knows? I feel like I feel like he might have it, because seeing the type of stories he tells, like what he just did with Batman and Robin was amazing. The story he just told was really good. And Warworld Saga, which I've mentioned a million times on this channel, was great. And these are big, grandiose stories. Who knows? That doesn't mean he can necessarily do a good event, but I think he could. I would like to see what he could do with an event. I think he could do some cool stuff. And Jeremy Adams has proven he's great on everything I've read of his as well. It's just a different type of storytelling, so I don't know about a grandiose event how he'd do, but I would like to see. I'd like them at least to give him a shot, because I'm really enjoying Green Lantern, although it's been a bit overcrowded as of late, and Aquaman's amazing. I love Aquaman right now. Jeremy Adams is doing a great job on Aquaman. Sad that no one's reading it. Now, with DCKO, and with what's currently going on leading in DCKO, we're getting crossovers between the mainline DC and Absolute universes. Hopefully this helps bolster the mainline universe, because apparently right now with the sales, the Absolute universe for DC is selling well. It's selling better than a lot of Marvel books. It's like some of the best-selling comics out, but the mainline DC stuff is not selling well at all, which is very sad, because like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's a lot of great DC comics right now. Green Arrow is one of my favorite ongoings currently. It's great. Chris Condon and Montos are telling some really cool stuff. They currently have a great Roy Harper story going on, and this is the second arc of this book, and I hope it keeps going. I hope it sells well and keeps going. It doesn't get canceled, because I'm really enjoying what he's doing with Green Arrow. It's a lot of fun to read, and even though it's not necessarily a fun book because of the matter of the storytelling, but it's a really good book, and I'm enjoying it a lot. What I said there was very confusing, but Green Arrow's great. You should read it if you're not reading it. But anyways, yeah, DC has a lot of great comics, and no one's buying them, and a lot of people are buying Absolute. Everyone's talking about Absolute, and I'm happy for Absolute. But with this crossover, I'm hopefully some of that Absolute juju gets on the mainline books. Hopefully people will be like, oh man, I'm enjoying this, and I see this, maybe I'll go check that out. Hopefully they nail it. I want the best for comic books as a whole, and comic books are the best when the big two are doing well, because it does well for all other comics. And if DC, because again, a lot of their ongoings are great right now, sadly their sales aren't for whatever reason, but if DC can nail this event and actually get some people to interested and read it and be like, oh, I really like that. Maybe I'll check out Superman. Oh, I really like that. Oh, maybe I'll check out Green Lantern. This could be a hit, but I don't know if DCKO is it. But this is the first little bit we're going to get where Absolute and the mainline universe crosses over. So this is a huge thing for DC if they nail it. But I'm not too confident that they'll nail it because, again, look who we got writing it. We got guys who are talented writers, but they're not necessarily talented at this whole big crossover event type stuff. But I would love for them to prove me wrong. I don't want Josh Williams and Scott Snyder to write a bad comic. I want them to write a great comic, and I want to love DCKO. I want to be the biggest fan of DCKO and come out and be like, hey guys, this comic's awesome. You should read it. But judging by the track records on events, I don't think it's going to happen. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to rant about that today because there's a lot of great comics out there that I think you should read, but sadly, events have not been something DC's done well. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about this topic. What do you think about the current state of DC and their events? And what are some of your favorite comics you read right now? I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.
Hey, skinny boy, saucy boy, I be running to the bank. Yeah, you know I hit the gas in the whip full tank. Riding past the ocean while I'm listening to Frank.